Where do you want to go first?
We'll go over what you got first.
Okay. Well, because you and I were talking about moral order and the morality of family values and that kind of thing.
Yeah. One real quick thing, Joe. We got to do our intro. This is
yeah.
BS with Joe.
You guys
Brad
are
Scott,
here.
this is Joe. All right. So we have discussions about things that are going on politically. We try to put in our own 2 cents into it. And today, what you got going, Joe?
I want to talk about the educated elite.
The educated elite?
Yes.
Okay.
Because we were talking about family values and moral order. And that
Yes.
It kind of ties in. So, the educated elite, I don't know if you're familiar with who they are, but we'll get into that. They have designed a meritocracy so that they succeed while everyone else fails.
Yes.
By the age of 12, American children from affluent families are 4 grade levels above everyone else.
Well, if you could pay for the best teachers.
Yes. Rich kids are 77 more likely to attend university.
Mm-hmm.
In adulthood, 54% of employees of elite workplaces went to the same 34 universities.
Okay, wow.
Yeah. Not only that, but every one of our elected officials in Washington, D.C. went to that same 34 universities.
Okay.
Yeah. People with high school degrees die 9 years sooner. 5 times more likely to have kids out of wedlock. 2.4 times more likely to say they have no friends. The educated elite have created a caste system, even though they pretend to be egalitarian.
Yes.
Yeah.
I could see that.
They have privatized morality and destroyed the moral order.
Explain that for me.
Well, I have a quote here from Walter Lippmann that kind of explains it. If what is right and wrong depends on what each individual feels, then we are outside the bounds of civilization.
Okay.
So if we put the moral obligation on the individual and take it away from churches and schools and that kind of thing,
And the state.
then you're outside the bounds of civilization.
Okay.
There has to be something creating moral order.
Right.
In the past, that has always been religion.
Right. And as of recent times, it's more of the judiciary.
Correct.
Now, the reason why I'm bringing that up, and this is why I kind of agree and slightly disagree with you on that.
Okay.
The reason why I'm disagreeing with the morality and the judiciary, because it is the judiciary aspect.
Okay.
Because you're going to see, right now you see criminals that commit violent acts and they're released.
Right.
You got, like Venezuelan gangs, being a judge trying to keep them here that have already committed crimes.
Right. You've got illegal aliens that raped a little girl that get probation.
Right. Where's the morality in that?
Right.
I believe everybody that's listening to this will agree to that.
Yeah.
So we are losing our morality, not just individual, but we're losing it as far as the judicial.
Right. Well, it has fallen down to the individual, and now it's eroding completely.
Yeah. And workplace used to have that too.
Yes.
And that's kind of eroded with DEI and other aspects.
It started long before that.
It started long before that.
Well,
Well,
go back to when when pensions were around.
correct.
You know, that went away. Employers no longer really felt any obligation to take care of their employees.
Right, and then the same thing with the employees no longer feel like they need to work at a certain place for so long.
Because they're not going to be respected anyway.
Right, and their pay probably isn't going to go up.
Right.
And
It got to the point where employers just wanted to use people instead of create a family lifestyle
correct.
or
Well,
improve people's lives.
right, and that's where I see the big separation is the working class is no longer looked at as a civilian or civility or a person. They're now looked at more as almost like a slave.
Yeah.
They're a serf class.
Without a strong moral order, it's really hard to find trust.
I believe the only places people can find trust is within family,
Or even find meaning in life.
meaning in life.
Yeah.
And that's where church comes in.
Right.
And so with the education, I could see that because there was a big thing in the news a couple of years ago about an actress that used to be in Full House paying for her kids to go through school, and that's where you see all these huge grants or this donations for this building at this huge university. That's so their kids can get a free ride through school with
Right.
good grades to get whatever they want.
Exactly.
You also look at Hunter Biden becoming a board member of Burisma. That I don't even think he knew how to speak Ukrainian. Number one, number two, he doesn't know anything about oil.
Right.
The only thing I think he knows is how to snort things up his nose.
That's all he's proven that he knows.
Yeah, Parmesan cheese.
Yeah. Right. Never mind.
We're kind of going off topic,
Yeah.
but it's something that does frustrate both Joe and I. That it's hard. It makes it harder for somebody that's wanting to get to a certain point to work hard. They have to work twice as hard,
More than that.
more than that. They almost have to be special,
Yeah.
and to be even
If you're not born with a silver spoon, you're done already.
Well, that's partially why I would like to have the education system reformed, or the federal.
It needs to be completely fixed.
Yeah, well, I think it almost should go back to the states. If they took it out of the federal government's hands and took it to the states.
Well, that's what Trump's trying to do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And and I know a lot of parents, if they're listening to this, they're probably frustrated with some of their school systems.
I would hope so.
I just watched a thing on X where the school went after, I think, the parents or somebody because they forced their daughter to change in front of a trans individual
I remember that story. Yeah.
in a locker room.
Yeah.
That
How can they even consider forcing that? That's
well, they have no morals. We're all talking about morality here.
true.
There is no morality in that. Their morals are like, oh, we got to give all these rights to these individuals who have identity crises. I honestly think any individual that says they're trans is going through more of an identity crisis than they are a sexual.
They need counseling, not doctors.
Right.
Anyway, 45% of high school students currently say that they are persistently hopeless and despondent.
Right.
Since the year 2000, the number of people that say that they are in the lowest happiness category is up 50%.
Mm-hmm. I can see that. That's and one of the things I was listening to is how Trump's crashing the economy, and everybody's upset about that. How I'm not upset because I'm in the lower part of part of it. I'm going to survive just fine as long as I can find a job and work and create some sort of income to feed myself and my family. I'm doing great.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to survive,
Right.
and we'll survive.
But that's the problem is most people are just surviving.
Right, and that's but the thing is, if it collapses, it'll make it easier for us to rebuild and actually get ahead as the people. One of the things I was thinking about too, I was listening to this individual on X. He took a graph of all these companies that own these other companies that own these other companies and their shareholders and all this, and did it color coded and blocks and stuff. Mm-hmm. And he then changed all the different colors to white being individually owned, gray as being like mutual fund like owned, and black as corporate owned or CEO owned, or those individuals that get dividends for working for these corporations.
Right.
So that way it's kind of like a tax burden. They don't have to pay taxes if they're given shares of their stock.
Right.
Majority of the board was all black, and the black was for the CEOs and the corporate and all this other stuff. So the people aren't even investing in stocks. because we can't. We're living paycheck to paycheck. We're pulling our money out of stocks to survive. Of course, the economy is going to collapse because all the currency is going up to the top, and everybody complains about the top 1% getting all the money.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's what's been going on, and the left argued about this forever.
Mm-hmm. Well, they kept it happening.
They kept it happening.
They wanted it to happen.
They wanted it to happen. Well, but
They'll tell you to your face that they don't want it to happen, but they're making it happen.
they're making it happen. You're right, because like Occupy Wall Street was all against that. It was to Occupy Wall Street to say, hey, look, we the people need to have an opportunity here.
That was a grassroots movement,
Mm-hmm.
and it kind of got squashed by the Democratic Party.
Oh, it did. Well, it wasn't squashed. It was hijacked and it was used to change their narratives.
Exactly. They just completely changed the narrative. Same with Black Lives Matter.
Right.
Democratic Party got involved. They changed the narrative.
Correct. And the government is really big, and they're controlling us through media and other sources. That's where USAID has been caught with.
Yeah, and what was the other one? The USA Global Media.
USA Global Media.
Yeah.
And these, I could see doing that with other countries, but not our own damn country.
I don't even think we should be doing it in our countries.
Yeah, you're right, Joe.
We
I
don't,
don't think so.
have any business dealing with their media and manipulating their population.
No, the thing is, what made our country sought out by other countries is the fact that we led by example.
Right.
We led by freeing our people,
Mm-hmm.
and through hard work, dedication, and opportunity, or the hope of opportunities.
It was the American dream.
It was the American dream.
Which doesn't exist right now.
Yeah, it's all squashed. Your numbers just prove that it's squashed.
Yeah.
That our young kids have no American dream.
Right.
If you can't own your own home or your own property, what's your worth? That's always been a judgment of what a man's worth is. Usually their word, their bond, but
Mhm.
also by what they could produce.
Can you support your family?
Can you support your family? And no wonder why a couple of episodes ago we were talking about men quitting on relationships.
Mm-hmm.
Very frustrating, very bleak, but we're working on it. Trump's working on it, and
The left is fighting them really hard.
oh, I know this. and we're going to talk in other episodes more about that.
Yeah.
So do you got more information about this, Joe?
Well, the rest of it we could actually split into another episode because I wanted to talk about Aristotle's definition of oligarchy,
Okay.
but we can do that in another episode.
Awesome. So, if you guys have any comments, please leave a comment, share, like, subscribe, leave a comment. Let us know what you guys want to hear.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, we're trying to grow the show. We're trying to change people's opinions and minds through our discussions.
We're just two regular guys. We both have full-time jobs. We don't do this for money or, and honestly, if I can spend an hour and a half in research in a week, that's about all I can get,
Yeah, it's just me and Joe doing this,
Yeah.
and I listen to a lot of other podcasters, and we may be regurgitating a lot of this,
Yeah.
but we're also putting our own opinions and ideas in it.
Mm-hmm.
If you agree with us, like and subscribe.
Please.